Story 3, Bloxburg. Chapter 1, Riley finds a place to build. The portal shimmered as Riley stepped through, the swirling light fading into a golden morning glow. They blinked, adjusting to the new world, and gasped. Bloxburg stretched out before them in warm, vivid color. Streets lined with neat hedges and towering palm trees framed cozy homes, whimsical cafes, and bold, futuristic mansions. Players bustled about, some painting fences, others mowing lawns or delivering pizzas. The air buzzed with ambition, like everyone here had a project, a plan, or a dream taking shape. Echo hovered beside Riley, now in the form of a tiny owl with metallic feathers and glowing blue-like lines across its wings. Its eyes sparkled like drafting stars. "Whoa," Max said, appearing beside Riley with Luna and Jamie. "This place is organized. It's like someone took everyone's ideas of the perfect neighborhood and turned it into a living, breathing design board," Luna added, already sketching something in her notebook. But Riley stood still, eyes wide. For the first time in their adventures, they didn't know where to begin. They loved exploring, solving mysteries, connecting with people, facing danger if they had to. But here, this was about building something, creating from scratch. Riley glanced at a nearby plot of land, a big flat space with a glowing sign, "Claim this lot. Build your dream." They hesitated. "What if I don't know what my dream looks like?" A voice interrupted from behind. "Then you start with what makes you feel like you." They turned to see a player standing confidently in a jumpsuit splattered with pixelated paint. She had short silver hair, safety goggles on her head, and a tool belt slung low on her hip. "I'm Nova," she said. "You're new here." Riley nodded. "I'm Riley. These are my friends, Max, Luna, and Jamie." "Nice crew," Nova said, nodding. "I saw you staring at the plot, thinking of claiming it?" "I don't know what I'd even build." Nova smirked. "That's the fun part. Here in Bloxburg, we don't just build houses. We build ideas, feelings, stories." Riley perked up at that. Stories that they understood. "You ever built something?" Nova asked. "Only in small ways," Riley admitted. "Tree houses, pillow forts, nothing like this." Nova looked thoughtful. "Then maybe it's time you level up." She reached into her inventory and pulled out a tiny holographic projector. With a flick, she revealed a glowing 3D model of her current project. A treehouse library with floating walkways and a stargazing tower. "That's amazing," Jamie said. "Thanks." "It's my 4th version," Nova said. "Every time I build it, it tells a little more of my story." That sparked something in Riley. Not fear, but inspiration. Echo fluttered onto their shoulder, warm and steady. Riley smiled. "Okay, I'm in. Let's build something." Nova nodded. "Claim your lot. Start your foundation. I'll show you the ropes." As the sun rose higher, casting long shadows across Bloxburg, Riley felt something settle in their chest. Not the thrill of a chase or the pull of a mystery, but the quiet excitement of beginning something that could only come from them. This world wasn't asking Riley to be brave or clever. It was asking them to create. And Riley Sparks, imaginative, kind-hearted, and endlessly curious, was ready to build. Chapter 2, Foundations. The sound of hammering, buzzing saws, and energetic synth music filled the air as Riley stared at the blank lot they had just claimed. A bright blue border shimmered at the edges, like the frame of a canvas waiting for its first brushstroke. Next to them, Max rolled out a blueprint on a foldable workbench. "Okay, I say we build something practical. Sturdy, maybe a cool pizza cafe with a secret hideout underneath." Jamie crossed his arms. "We should make it an underground base, high-tech, with motion-activated doors and escape tunnels." Luna, seated on a stack of supply crates, was doodling a leafy rooftop garden on a napkin. "Or we could go eco-style. Open walls, vines, a sun-dairy dream, very, very aesthetic." Riley laughed nervously. "All great ideas, but how do we build one thing with all of that?" Nova leaned on a shovel nearby, chewing bubblegum. You'll figure it out. But here's the trick. Don't just build something. Build something that means something to you. Riley glanced at the team again, noticing how excited and a little stubborn everyone looked. And suddenly, they remembered something from back home. One summer when they'd tried building a blanket fort with their cousin. Each had different ideas, and the fort collapsed in an hour. This time, Riley wanted to get it right. They tapped on their digital build menu, selecting the simplest wooden platform. Let's each build a piece, they said. We'll start small, everyone gets a section to shape in their own way, and then we'll connect them all. Max raised a brow. A modular base? Like a patchwork clubhouse, Luna added, smiling. Actually, I love that. Nova nodded approvingly. Nice leadership move. They got to work. Max's section had neon lights and arcade machines. For morale, he claimed. Luna built a sunny glass-walled room with climbing ivy and a meditation pod. Jamie constructed an underground command center full of glowing screens, dramatic lighting, and hidden escape routes. And Riley? They started with a small central room, clean, cozy, with bookshelves, cushions, and a skylight overhead, a space for gathering, reading, and imagining. Echo shifted into a little robotic beaver, clicking happily as it zipped around helping install flooring and nudge stubborn walls into place. As the hours ticked by, their odd little clubhouse began to take shape. It wasn't sleek or perfect, but it was alive. Then the problems began. Max's lights glitched with Jamie's tech. Luna's open concept flooded Jamie's secure room with sunlight. Jamie declared it a security hazard. Luna rolled her eyes. It's a sunbeam, not a laser. Riley tried to keep peace, but their voice kept getting lost in the arguments. They began doubting the patchwork idea. Was trying to combine everyone's visions a mistake? They sighed and stepped back, standing with Echo at the edge of the build zone. The little owl beaver blinked at them with quiet patience. You okay? Nova asked, walking over. I thought building something together would feel easy, Riley said. But it's like every piece is pulling in a different direction. Nova shrugged. That's because you're trying to build harmony, not just a house, and that's always messy. She gestured toward Riley's quiet central room. But this is the heart. Everyone's building off of your idea, even if they don't know it. Riley blinked. She was right. Their room, the meeting point, was keeping it all together. Maybe that was Riley's gift. Not building the biggest tower or flashiest room, but building a place to connect. They took a deep breath and walked back into the mess of wires, vines, lights, and creative chaos. Okay, Riley said. We can make this work, but we have to listen to each other. Let's figure out what everyone needs and meet in the middle. The group paused and nodded, and just like that, the clubhouse began to come together. Chapter 3, Under Construction. The sun over Bloxburg rose higher each day, casting golden light across Riley and their friends' shared creation, an ever-evolving clubhouse that had begun to feel like more than just a digital build. It was messy, creative, and full of personality, just like its creators. But now there was a new challenge. The Bloxburg Build Showcase, a town-wide event where teams revealed their projects, was only 2 days away. Posters had popped up across town. Bright, bold text declared, "Create, inspire, share your vision with the world." Nova handed them one with a smirk. "You're in." Riley blinked. "Wait, we are? You've got something worth showing," she said. "I registered you already. Better get to polishing." Riley's heart fluttered between excitement and dread. It felt huge, like they were about to put their imagination on display for the entire server. The group gathered in the clubhouse's central room. "Okay," Riley said, tapping their clipboard. "We've got our base built, but now we need polish, decorations, storyboards, functionality." Max leaned back in a beanbag. "We need music. I vote for lasers and bass drops." Jamie frowned. We need structure, a tour path, labels, lighting. Luna waved a tablet sketch. We should tell a story, like each room represents part of our journey. Max and Jamie both groaned. Riley sighed, pinching the bridge of their nose. Echo chirped quietly, its feathered tail coiling like a question mark. Riley glanced around. Everyone was passionate, but their styles clashed like wild brushstrokes on a canvas. It was harder and harder to keep the peace. I know we all have different ideas, Riley began, trying to keep their voice calm. But I think that's what makes our clubhouse work. What if we lean into that? Luna tilted her head. What do you mean? Let's show how different we are, and how we fit together anyway. The Build's theme can be connection. We each guide part of the tour. Let people experience our personalities, and then end with the heart of it all. The shared space. Jamie's eyes lit up. So a walk-through journey of our individual contributions ending in unity? Max grinned. I like that. It's kind of deep for a Roblox build. Luna winked. And we can make it pretty. Excitement buzzed again. They divided the final tasks and got to work. Jamie added interactive puzzle locks to his techie control room. Luna painted murals and added projection effects to her garden space. Vines grew in real time as players walked through. Max programmed a laser light show in his arcade wing, complete with silly mini-games and a dance floor. Riley, meanwhile, focused on refining the heart room, soft lighting, hanging memories on the walls, screenshots from their adventure, and a final message players would see at the end. Built by many hands, shaped by many hearts. By nightfall, they were exhausted but proud. They sat together under the pixelated stars on the clubhouse rooftop, eating virtual burgers and sipping smoothies. Jamie poked the fire pit. I thought we were going to fall apart today. Riley smiled. We almost did. Max nudged Riley. You kept us together, you know? Luna added softly. You've got a way of hearing everyone and making it all work. Riley didn't know what to say. Part of them still felt like the quiet kid who built pillow forts alone. But something inside had changed. They weren't just exploring someone else's world anymore. They were shaping one. Echo snuggled close, glowing a warm blue. Tomorrow was the showcase, and for the first time Riley felt ready, not just to present a build, but to share something that truly came from them. Chapter 4, Showtime. The day of the Bloxburg Build Showcase arrived like a firework, bright, buzzing, and a little nerve-wracking. All across town, players swarmed the streets, teleporting in with their most elaborate builds. Some were sleek, modern mansions with marble staircases and glowing pools. Others were wild theme parks, space stations, or fantasy castles floating on clouds. The energy was electric. Riley stood outside their own plot, nerves fluttering in their stomach like a trapped butterfly. Their team's creation, the Patchwork Clubhouse, stood proudly at the center of it all, a charming blend of styles that somehow worked together in harmony. It wasn't the biggest, flashiest, or most expensive-looking build, but it was theirs. Max, Luna, Jamie, and Nova stood by Riley's side, dressed in matching builder-themed outfits. Nova wore sunglasses anyway. Echo hovered above the entrance, glowing softly, its form a shimmering owl-fox hybrid, tail trailing like stardust. Ready? Max asked, twirling a virtual flashlight. Nope, Riley said, but let's do it anyway. Visitors began to trickle in, curious players, judges, and random passers-by. The tour began. Max led visitors through his arcade room, lights flashing to music while he cracked jokes and triggered random minigame pop-ups. Jamie impressed the crowd with puzzle panels and security systems that required players to think their way through. Luna walked people through her garden loft, where holographic flowers bloomed in response to kind chat messages. Riley's central space tied it all together, a quiet, welcoming zone where players could rest, read, and reflect. Screens displayed images of the group's journey from their first wooden platform to their last-minute late-night fixes. People laughed, clapped, and took screenshots, but not everyone was impressed. "Looks kinda amateur," someone whispered near the back. "Too many styles clashing," said another. "Feels messy." Riley froze. The butterfly in their chest turned cold. Echo tilted its head, sensing the shift. Riley touched its fur absent-mindedly, feeling the tiny warmth pulsing beneath. Nova leaned in. "They're wrong, you know." "But what if they're not?" Riley whispered. "What if we just built a weird patch of parts instead of something real?" Nova shrugged. "Who says it can't be both? Look, Riley, some people build to impress. You built to connect. That's way harder." Before Riley could answer, a voice called out, "Excuse me, builder of the central room?" It was one of the showcase judges, a tall player in a shimmering golden outfit, clipboard floating beside them. Riley stepped forward, heart pounding. "That's me. I just wanted to say, your room was the only one today that made me feel something. It reminded me of when I used to build with my little sister. It was messy, cozy, personal. I almost forgot I was in a game." Riley blinked, stunned. "Thanks, I'm glad." The judge nodded, smiled, and moved on. Riley turned to Echo, who gave a soft chirp. The cold butterfly inside them melted just a little. Later that evening, the winners were announced. First place went to a player who built a flying cyberpunk city. Second to a sprawling wizard academy with animated dragons. The patchwork clubhouse didn't place, but when the judge returned to announce the community favorite, the build people felt most connected to, the crowd erupted. "Patchwork! Patchwork! Patchwork!" The screen above the stage blinked. "Community favorite. Patchwork Clubhouse." For reminding us that creativity isn't about being perfect, it's about building something together. Riley's heart soared. They turned to their friends who were already cheering. Nova clapped them on the back. "Told you!" Max wiped an imaginary tear. "Beautiful." Luna hugged them tight. "You did it, Patchwork Captain!" And Echo, glowing brighter than ever, soared into the air above them, leaving a trail of tiny stars in its wake. Riley smiled, cheeks aching with joy. They hadn't just built a base. They'd built something real and shared it with the world. Chapter 5, The Storm. The morning after the showcase, the Patchwork Clubhouse was buzzing with excitement. Players who had visited during the event returned to leave messages on the guestbook wall. Some left kind words, others dropped digital gifts, flowers, trophies, glowing emojis. The clubhouse had become something more than just a build. It was a hub, a little community born from creativity and connection. But then something happened. Max was the first to notice it. Guys?" He called out from the front room, staring at a corner where a garden wall had once been. "Where'd the vines go?" Jamie frowned, checking a control panel. "Luna's whole garden wing is missing, like it never existed." Riley's heart skipped. Maybe a loading error? They opened build mode. The layout flickered. Walls disappeared and reappeared at random. Furniture pieces duplicated, then vanished. The central hub where all the rooms connected now showed only an empty void. Riley's hands shook. What's happening? Then came the message. Warning, server instability detected. Some builds may experience data corruption. Please back up your work immediately. Nova, who had popped in for a visit, raised an eyebrow. You made a backup, right? Everyone looked at Riley. I thought autosave was on, Riley whispered, staring at the flickering ruins of the clubhouse. I didn't think we needed to. A long silence. Luna looked devastated. Jamie clenched his fists. Max sat down on the floor, stunned. It's all gone? Luna whispered. Riley stared at the empty hub, trying to process the sinking feeling in their chest. All their effort, the teamwork, the story, the shared space they poured their hearts into, it was disappearing right before their eyes. Echo hovered beside Riley, its glow dimming. For a moment, Riley felt like that shy kid again, quiet overlooked someone who never quite got it right. They swallowed hard. "No," they said quietly. "We're not giving up." Jamie blinked. "What?" Riley turned to face them all, eyes steady. "This place mattered because we built it. Together, we can build it again. Better, stronger. We remember every piece, right? We know what it meant." "But it took us weeks," Luna said, her voice cracking. "I know," Riley replied, "but this time we have something we didn't at the start." Max raised an eyebrow. "What's that?" "Each other," Riley said. "We've grown. We know how to work together now. And maybe we don't need to rebuild everything exactly the same. Maybe this is a chance to build something new, something that reflects who we are now." They paused, unsure if it was enough. Then Nova smiled. "Let's do it." Jamie nodded. "Agreed. I already made notes on how to streamline the circuits." Luna wiped her eyes. "I'll replant the garden, make it wilder this time." Max stood, grinning, "And I'm upgrading the arcade with a popcorn launcher." Echo glowed again, warmth pulsing around them. They spent the rest of the day working, not to replicate what they lost, but to begin something new. Riley redrew the central hub from memory, adding new ideas they hadn't had space for before. A skylight to let in the pixelated sun, a new message wall that anyone could write on, and a soft corner just for resting, Echo's nook. By evening, the frame of the new clubhouse stood tall. Not perfect, not finished, but alive. As the digital sunset spread across Bloxburg, Riley sat on the edge of the new roof. Echo curled in their lap, watching the others still building and laughing below. The storm had come, but they had weathered it together. Chapter 6, A Place of Our Own. A week passed. In real time, just 7 days. But in Bloxburg, it felt like a season of transformation. The patchwork clubhouse had risen again, not as a recreation of the old build, but something entirely new. The team called it the Hearthlight Hub. It kept the spirit of the original, but each space reflected how the group had grown. Jamie's new room was a logic garden, where puzzles bloomed like flowers and solved themselves as visitors walked by. Luna turned her garden into a living sculpture maze, mixing creativity with nature in a way that left players speechless. Max built an arcade dome on the roof, complete with anti-gravity pinball and a goofy minigame called Snack Attack. Nova, though still mostly mysterious, added a skyward terrace, a quiet place high above the clubhouse where visitors could just sit, breathe, and reflect. And Riley, they built a new central space called the Echo Hall, an open, circular room with wide windows and cozy seats, glowing softly with animated firelight. Echo now had a perch in the middle of the room, where it glowed gently in its owl dragon form, symbolizing the heart of the team. But the real magic wasn't in the rooms. It was in what the clubhouse had become. Visitors from across Bloxburg came not just to see it, but to be part of it. Riley had added a community corner where players could share mini-builds, write messages, or tell stories. Every day something new appeared, a poem, a funny statue, a memory from someone who had just discovered the hub. One evening, Riley sat on the front steps watching the digital sunset wash over their work in golden light. Echo fluttered down beside them. "We really did it, huh?" Riley murmured. Echo nuzzled their shoulder. Max plopped down beside them, slurping a soda. "You know this place has over 1,000 bookmarks now? Someone made fan art of the arcade." Luna joined, holding her tablet, and someone made a playlist called Patchwork Vibes. It's actually really good. Jamie appeared behind them. "Also, small detail, I've automated the lighting system to reflect real-time weather. Hope that's cool." Nova, leaning against a nearby wall, smirked. "You realize you made a whole culture in here, right?" Riley smiled. "We didn't build a base, we built a home." They looked up at the digital stars, knowing they were just pixels, just code. But somehow they felt real, because the feelings they represented were real. Friendship, growth, creativity, love. Echo shifted forms, slowly transforming into its original state, a glowing fox-firefly hybrid. It blinked at Riley with the same knowing warmth it always had. "Do you think it's time?" Riley whispered, more to themselves than anyone else. "To move on?" Max asked. Riley nodded. "Not because we're leaving anything behind, but because we've built something strong enough to last even when we're gone." The others nodded quietly. They would visit again, of course, but their story in Bloxburg, the first of many, was complete. As they turned back one last time before logging out, Riley saw it. A group of new players exploring the Hearthlight Hub for the first time, laughing, pointing, leaving notes in the community corner. And Riley smiled. The world didn't need to be perfect. It just needed a place where everyone belonged. And they had built that, together.